Let's make a front pleated bubu dress together. So the first thing you want to do is to take your fabric and you place your fabric on fold. To know the right amount of fabric you will place on fold, you will take the measurement from the bone at the back of your neck down to your sleeve length. So whatever your sleeve length gives you will be what you will use to place your fabric on fold. Okay, if you got 20 inches, you know that when you are placing your fabric on fold, your fabric should be 20 inches or 21 inches on fold. I hope that is explicit enough. So after doing that, you can decide the length you want. So now you are going to keep that length aside. So now for the front, you want your front piece to be bigger than your back piece with about 8 inches or 16 inches. The 16 inches I'm talking about will be on fold. Okay, so you can mark 6 inches like so, or you can mark 8 inches. It depends on how the wideness of your front pleat will be. Okay, so in this case 8 inches on fold is enough. So I'm going to now take the back piece and I'll place it on that start line. Okay, I'm going to pin this down so that it will not move. You place it and you pin it down so that it will not move. So once you are done doing this, the next thing you are going to do is to determine the neckline. So you can decide how wide you want your neckline to be. You can use 3.5 inches, you can do 4 inches, it depends on how wide you want it to be. Then for the back neckline, you are coming down by 1.5 inches for the back neck depth. So for the end of your sleeve, you can come down by 2 inches and you connect like so to meet the neck width. Once you are done connecting, you want your armhole to be wide. So this now I'll be marking my armhole here. You can mark 16 inches for your armhole because it will still be pleated. So you don't want it to be fitted. You can mark 16 inches for the armhole. You can mark 14 inches or you can mark 12 inches. It depends on what you want. So between 12 and 16 inches is fine. So now you don't need your bust, waist, and you don't need to mark your bust, waist, and hip line measurement. You don't need that. All you need to do is to mark your knee line measurement. Okay, you can mark your knee line measurement. Once you mark your knee line measurement, you can now place your hip measurement on that knee line, but you add like extra 4 inches to it. This will be for ease so that you can walk freely. You don't want that part to be wide, too wide, because we are still going to connect it down to the hem. So divide your hip measurement by 4. You can see every measurement I'm taking is starting from the center line. You can see it. Then you connect it to the hem of the dress like so. After connecting, you are going to come in on the armhole part by like 3 inches. Then you connect it all the way from the knee line. You connect it straight to meet the armhole with a curve like so, as you can see. So because you don't need that armhole part to be sharp, you don't need that part to be sharp, so you can come down by 1 inch or 1.5 inches and then you give it a slight curve like so. You can see the curve that I have there. So once you are done doing this, we are done with our pattern. Making bubu is very, very simple. So now you are cutting this out. We are cutting both the front and back piece together like so, as you can see. Once you are done doing that, I'm going to notch both the front and back neckline together like so. Then I will raise the back neckline. I'll raise the back pattern up and cut the neckline. The reason why I notch the neckline with the front is because I want it to be the same neck width. So now the front in this video we are working on is a V neckline. You can do any type of neckline you want. So for your V shape, you can come down by 8 inches, 9 inches, 7 inches. It depends on how wide you want your V neckline to be. So you can do 8 inches, 8 inches is fine. Then you mark your V neckline. Then the next thing you want to put into consideration is the pleat in the front pattern. From your waistline, if your waist is 16 inches, you can add like extra 4 inches to it, and then you mark down. So if your waist is 16, if you add 4 inches, it will give you 20. So you mark it down on that front line like so, and then you connect it all the way to the end of the 8 inches unfold pattern that we have. Then this other part, you can mark 1 inch all the way up. This 1 inch will serve as our seam allowance. So after doing that, you can now fold the 8 inches inward like so. You hide it, you fold it inward, and then you shaping your neck width, your neckline I mean. So once you are done shaping the neckline, this is what it will give you. Then you can now cut this out. So you can see what it looks like now. So now once you are done doing this, you are done with your front pattern. The next thing we are going to do is to sew this down. But because I'm using paper for illustration, I'm just going to use my pins to pin that part down. So when you are sewing, you can come down from that point by half of an inch. Okay, you can sew that part down. You exceed that wide 8 inches that we have by half of an inch. You go down by extra half of an inch. Once you are done doing that, you will now open your pattern up. You open your pattern up. Once you are working, make sure you iron. So once you are done sewing that part by half of an inch, you press it down like so, making sure that the center of this 8 inches aligns with the center of this front line that is coming from the neckline. Then you will now sew down. But me, I'll be using pin to pin down. You sew down following that shape like so. You sew down half an inch following that shape. So after doing this, you can now cut facing for your neckline. You can see how the front will open up after you are done sewing. Don't forget to cut facing for your front and your back. So for the armhole, you are going to pleat. You pleat it, both the front and the back. You will now sew your band. You can cut band of 3 inches for the armhole. And if you don't want a band, you can just put elastic. Hope you found this helpful. Like and follow for more.